I want you to imagine what your normal day looks like. If you could just like be a fly on the wall for your own life, what does your life look like day to day? You wake up, imagine the first thing you do, your eyes start to peel open. And what's the first thing you do? Most likely, if you're like, I don't know, probably 90+% of people, you turn immediately and you grab your phone and you kind of see what happened in the evening as you slept out in the world, whether that's a news story or social media post or what's on Twitter or X or emails that came in or what happened at work or whatever you go to immediately to start searching. Maybe it's sports scores and things like that. You scroll for a little bit and then you realize you probably got to start getting ready for the day. And so you go downstairs or you go down the hall and you grab yourself a cup of coffee to get yourself kind of boosted for the day, take a shower, get ready. Grab your phone again, maybe 2 or 3 times throughout that process, scroll a bit more, go to work or start work at home and kind of move through your day doing the things that you know you have to do in order to provide for your family. In the meantime, taking a couple breaks to scroll, check out some news stories, watch some highlight videos, go back to work. Throughout work, you might be having a coffee or some soda or an energy drink, maybe some snacks, a little bit more scrolling. You get home, help out with the kids a bit, finally get them to bed, scroll some more, watch a little bit of Netflix or a movie or a show or a game, maybe have something to drink to kind of wind down or relax. A few more scrolls on the phone, and then finally your head hits the pillow, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you do it all over again. That's not a shame thing, by the way. That's like my life and every other person's life in America and really the world. Like this is kind of the average repeat cycle that I think most of us are on. And the crazy thing is, at the end of that cycle, most of us would say we feel exhausted, we're tired, we kind of feel this chronic, like just fatigue. We're chronically tired in our soul. We feel overwhelmed or burned out or out of energy. And it's not necessarily because we're overworking or life is super hard, but maybe because our brains are drowning in just really cheap dopamine hits. It's not that we're broken necessarily. It's just that we're really, really overstimulated. I want you to imagine, if you can, if you're listening to this, just try to go on this little imagination adventure with me. Imagine that you live near a park and you have this idea of setting up a little scavenger hunt for your kids. And so you go to the store and you find the most amazing fruit that you can imagine, the juiciest, in season, ripe, feels like God's candy. Not only is it taste super good, but it's actually really good for you. Full of nutrients and vitamins and just a delight to the senses. So you fill your cart in all this amazing fruit. You get home, you separate it in multiple containers, and you go to the park and you hide these containers of fruit all over the park. And then you sit down and you write some clues and create this super fun little scavenger hunt for your kids to do. So you take them to the park and you've got all the clues and you've got all the scavenger hunt details laid out with a little map, and you hand it to your kids and they start going around the park searching and they're laughing and they haven't even found anything yet, but they're fully enjoying the process of just looking for the treasure that you hid for them. They're looking in the rocks and in the bushes and under slides, and eventually one of your kids finds this little container, opens it up. They're full of joy. They've got a smile. They found the treasure. They take the thing out. They eat it and they love it. They're just like, oh my gosh, where did you get this fruit? This is incredible. Everyone's having a good time when all of a sudden this guy shows up. He's super sketchy. Looks like he's got a van that belongs on a Dateline episode. And he's got this like broken speaker with kind of weird, almost creepy children's music. And it's cutting in and out. And he's got a sign on the side of the van that says free ice cream. And you're like, what the heck? And the kids, before you can even say anything, the kids run over there. And this creep just starts handing out free ice cream to the kids. You eventually go over there and you tell the creep, like, dude, get out of here. What the heck are you doing? I'm about to call the cops. Like, can't be handing out free ice cream to the kids. Your kids finish the ice cream and you try to get them back into the scavenger hunt. You're like, all right, you guys, put the ice cream down. Like, it's time to get back to our little adventure. And your kids are like, what? No. Like, we're full of ice cream. Where's the ice cream guy? We want more ice cream. And you're like, no, the ice cream, yeah, cool. It's cool now, but eventually it's going to kill you. Like, you can't just, that guy was a creep. And also you can't be eating ice cream all the time. Like, there's some awesome fruit out there. And your kids have now discovered that there's a whole new way that they can enjoy the park without having to work. There's no work involved in running over there to the ice cream guy. You can just grab it whenever you want and eat it, and it's free. You don't have to figure out all these clues. You don't have to search around. You can just sit down, enjoy your ice cream, and you don't have to go through any work. Not only did it ruin your time at the park with that scavenger hunt, but now every time you go back to that park, even if he's not there, your kids are thinking, where's the ice cream guy? I don't want to wait in line for the slide. I don't want to run around looking for any kind of scavenger hunt. I just want the ice cream guy. Last time we were here, the ice cream guy was giving out free ice cream, and it's completely ruined the park experience for you. Now, I'm sure this analogy is going to break down at all kinds of levels, but I want you just to imagine that God is the father, you are the child, and this is the world you were set up to live in. God, when he created all of creation, made things beautiful, and God in his beauty and his creativity and in his kindness created this chemical called dopamine, that not only do you get to enjoy the good things that God's created, but your brain could actually be wired to say, man, we should do that again. That's why every time you stand under the stars on a clear night, you look up to the heavens and you're like, dang, this is amazing. I feel small. Something about this feels incredible. This is why looking at the ocean does something unexplainable in your soul. Or when you hear your kid's belly laugh, you can't help but get a smile. God put these chemicals in our brain that reward the process. It's why when you build something with your hands, you're like, man, I'm really proud of myself. I did something hard. God in his kindness built dopamine into creation, and there's natural dopamine like work or marriage and sex and friendship and physical movement and his creation and the beauty of his creation and feeling like you have a purpose in life or a calling that you're moving toward or making progress on a goal or seeing growth in yourself or worshiping with a group of people and feeling a sense of awe. All of this is a natural dopamine that God designed. And that's why in Psalm 16:11 it says, in your presence, O God, there is fullness of joy. The fullness is not in your phone or in porn or in Amazon cards or in dopamine hacks. The fullness of joy, it's relational, it's embodied, it's meaningful. This is what our souls crave and was actually designed for. And the problem is we have a creep called an enemy who shows up in a van and he starts passing out ice cream. We live in a world that said, let's take that dopamine feeling, that goodness, that drive that we get, and let's hack the system. We had a little nerd hack the system, or an enemy who hates us and hates the design of God and says, let's see if we can cheapen this and make it artificial. And so now, instead of finding joy in all the things that I just mentioned, we find joy in porn and social media and junk food and alcohol and gaming and online shopping and constant notifications, binge streaming, fantasy about sex or success or revenge or escaping. We get the high reward with very low effort. Why would I go on a scavenger hunt for fruit when I can just get some ice cream from the creeper? Why would I pursue my wife? Why would I sit down and play a board game with my kids? Why would I run a couple miles around the neighborhood when I can feel all the good feelings by pulling out my phone or seeing some pretty woman on a screen who doesn't require anything of me, or sit on the couch and eat or drink this thing? Our entire world has been hijacked by cheap dopamine, artificial dopamine hits. And it doesn't just feel good, it actually rewires your soul. And what happens is when you live in a world full of artificial dopamine hits is real life starts to feel super boring. Your wife feels way less exciting. Your kids actually feel kind of annoying. God feels distant, or work feels pointless. Prayer feels dry. Silence feels unbearable. Discipline feels impossible. And at the end of the day, cheap dopamine makes holy things feel really, really dull. And so you didn't actually lose your passion for God. You just trained your brain to crave counterfeit glory. And the goal for us as Christian men is not to have more discipline or to try harder or just stop sinning. The goal of a Christian man as a spiritual leader looking to find healing is to find the deeper issue of desire. Like James 1:14 says, each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desires. We don't just need more rules, we need retrained desires. Jesus didn't say, stop sinning. He offered us better joy. John 10:10, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. Abundant life is better than artificial highs. And so as a man who's trying to find healing, to find deep restoration in your soul, you have to ask yourself, what do you reach for when you're tired or when you're lonely? What do you reach for when you're stressed or when you're bored or when you're avoiding pain? This is what we talk about on the Dad Tired podcast all the time. Usually, most of us reach for our phone or porn or food or alcohol or fantasy or busyness, and our coping mechanisms reveal our cravings. We got a dog about a year and a half ago, and I was really working hard to train her. And they kept telling me to train her with the kibble, just use her food to train her. And so I was using her food to train her and teach her how to sit and stay in place and all this stuff. And one day when she was a puppy, she jumped up on the counter and she grabbed a piece of pizza that was left over from dinner that night. And dude, I could just see in her eyes, like, you've been giving me this kibble, this like stale food, when this whole time there was pizza. Like, you've been holding out on pizza from me. Trying to move from a piece of pizza back to kibble is really, really hard. Kibble feels really boring. The problem is pizza makes her have diarrhea and throw up, and she'll completely wrecks her gut and is not good for her. But in the moment, man, that felt really, really good. The problem with ice cream at the park is it seems awesome for a moment, but you keep eating ice cream, it's going to mess up your stomach. It's going to mess up your regulation. It's going to make your teeth rot. It feels good for a minute, but it's not actually best for you. And the problem with these short artificial dopamine hits like porn and breaking news notifications and gambling and pills and alcohol and gambling and junk food is eventually, even though it feels good in the moment, will kill the things that God created for you to actually find a life in. It's hard to go back to your marriage and find satisfaction in a long conversation with your wife, pursuing her heart in such a way that she wants to be intimate with you, when you can quickly find a woman on your phone who will ask nothing of you. It's hard to sit in the problems of a marriage to two sinful people trying to work out what it means to sacrifice and love each other when you can just escape in fantasy. It's hard to sit down and disciple your kid's heart, to parent their heart, to really uncover and mine out what's happening in their heart when you could just scroll a little bit. Why would I have real friends who get to know me and who could possibly see the sinful parts of my life and confess sin and struggle when I can just have a bunch of friends online or talk about hobbies on Reddit or some forum? Why would I find beauty in laying in the grass and looking up at the stars when I can just view cool NASA videos on my phone? In the moment, it sounds awesome, but eventually everything around me starts to wither. And dude, you know that. You know that. You feel it deep in your soul. You don't actually feel like you're full of life when you're just constantly on a drip IV of artificial dopamine. This last year, I've tried to make it like a massive goal of mine to eliminate everything that gives me dopamine artificially. If it doesn't come from God, if it's not something that God created for a natural dopamine hit, I don't want it in my life. And this has been a long, slow process. This is part of why I don't have any social media on my phone. I don't have any breaking news accounts on my phone, no gambling, shopping apps, anything that could show me something sexual. Like when I open my phone, I can check my email and the weather. It's like really, really boring. I don't have an enticement to pull my phone up all the time because it's not giving me any kind of dopamine hit. And I will tell you, bro, after doing this for a year and a half now, the biggest thing that I've noticed in my life, it feels like I have a whole new brain. My brain is rewired. And the biggest thing, the biggest benefit that I feel is that I feel more present in the moment. I can sit with my kids and play a board game with them and actually enjoy it. I can have a long, deep conversation with my wife and not feel like my brain is in a million different places. Dude, it's hard to find joy in a candle if your whole life is fireworks. And the world is offering you fireworks all the time. Your phone, notifications, breaking news media, substances, all the time. Just fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. Why in the world would a candle look exciting when you have fireworks all the time? But all of a sudden you take the fireworks away, all this artificial stuff. And now there's something beautiful about a candle. Like you can sit and stare at a candle for a really long time. We literally just got back home from church about an hour ago, and I had to go to the grocery store to grab some lunch for the kids. And so I dropped all the family off, and then I was going to leave, and I'm waiting for my kids to unload the car. And the kids open the front door, and my dog does this thing where she's so excited to see us, she just starts running laps around the car. And we all just kind of laugh and giggle at it because she does it like clockwork every time. And I'm sitting there inside the car, and I'm watching the dog run around, and I'm watching my kids laugh. And I'm seeing the smile on my wife's face as this happens. Dude, it's like the most wholesome, innocent moment. And my heart is beaming with joy. There's nothing flashy about it. It is a very normal, quote unquote, boring moment of a day. And it is filling my heart with joy. In the presence of God and his design and the way things were meant to be, I am feeling fullness of joy. And honestly, I can tell you that I'm feeling that at the deepest level because I've eliminated all the artificial things that have given me dopamine hits in the past. And so here's my challenge to you as a guy who's trying to work through this. I want to invite you into a 7-day dopamine reset. Here's what this would look like. I want you to choose 3 things. One thing I'm going to ask you to remove, one thing I'm going to ask you to reduce this week, and one thing I want you to add. So something could be, one thing to remove could be no phone for the first hour of your day. Just completely remove your phone. I charge my phone away from my bed. So when I wake up, my eyes hit and I just see the sunlight. I stare at my wife in hopefully a non-creepy way. I start with some gratitude. God, thank you for waking me up and getting me started for the day. So this is something you could remove. Remove your phone or pull an app off of your phone. Remove a news app or remove a social media account off of your phone. That's one thing you could remove. The next thing is I want you to reduce. You don't have to get this perfectly. You don't have to change your life overnight, but just what is one thing you could reduce? Could you reduce sugar highs? Could you cut out some sweets this week? Could you cut out some social media? If you have a beer after work every day, could you cut down to 3 beers? Could you go a week without any beer? If you're playing games, could you go 1 day without any games this week or 1 week without any games? Just what is something in your life where it's an artificial dopamine hit that you can reduce? And then finally, what could you add this week? What is one thing that you could add that is a natural dopamine hit that God intended? Something like a 10-minute walk where you're just quiet. You have no tech on you, no phone, no headphones. You just go on a quiet walk for 10 minutes this week. Or you purposely sit down and have a long conversation with your wife. No phones, you just sit and you talk to her. Or you do 10 push-ups a day, something hard, and then you just sit quietly and you just say a really short prayer. God, talk to God for a little bit. You could say something like, God, retrain my desires. Teach me to crave what you created, not what the world invented, not what my flesh desires. When you think through natural dopamine hits, it might be things like lifting weights or running, cold shower, sunlight, sleep. It could be reading scripture slowly, not scrolling with an actual Bible, not your phone. It could be a prayer walk or just sitting in silence with God, worship music in the car instead of this podcast or any other podcast. It could be having a deep conversation with your wife or roughhousing wrestling with your kids. It could be sitting down with a brother and just asking him how he's doing and try to get a little bit deeper than sports. It could be building something, learning a new skill, practicing the guitar, teaching yourself something on piano, finding some way to create instead of just consuming. There's a reason our hearts are longing for these dopamine hits. That's honestly why we do Dad Tired. Everything we talk about here is trying to get to the underlying motivation of what's really happening within our souls that cause us to want these cheap dopamine hits. And so if you're brand new to the podcast, just keep listening because we talk about that all the time. But for now, just trying to be really practical. I want you to think of 3 things. One thing, what can you remove this week that is an artificial dopamine hit? What can you just reduce, start to slow down on the artificial dopamine hit? And what is one thing that you can add that you're not doing that is a natural, God-given, God-created dopamine reset? I hope this is helpful for you guys. I try to be really practical. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.